Hi, my friends. Today, I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it. Christmas morning had always been a pageant in our house, everything arranged to look warm enough for a holiday card, but cold enough to remind me where I stood. The cinnamon rolls my mother, Margaret, insisted on baking were already blackened at the edges. The fireplace roared at full blast, even though the thermostat read 72. My sister Cecilia waltzed in last, draped in a new white coat, her hair brushed glossy enough to reflect the tree lights. I watched her kiss our father, Douglas, on the cheek, watched him beam like he was seeing her for the first time in months. He didn't even glance at me. I forced my smile into place, my fingers tracing the crack in the old reindeer ornament I'd hung on the tree myself when I was 6. Margaret stood up, the queen of our tiny kingdom in her crimson robe, tied perfectly at her waist. She held out a gold box with a white satin ribbon, small, elegant, heavy with meaning I knew wasn't for me. "Open it, darling," she said, her eyes soft and shining on Cecilia like stage lights. Cecilia gasped before she even touched the ribbon. She always did that, made her reactions look like a scene from a film. She peeled the paper back inch by inch, milking every heartbeat. Inside, nestled in velvet, was a silver house key. I swear the Christmas lights flickered brighter just to catch the shine. "A house," Douglas announced, his voice catching in his throat like he was announcing a miracle. "We bought her a house." "Oh my God," Cecilia squealed, jumping up to hug them both. "You did this for me?" "Oh, Mom, Dad, this is..." She didn't finish. She didn't need to. The performance was done. Margaret turned to me then as if she'd remembered I existed and pressed a thin envelope into my lap. "You'll understand someday, Lisa." Her voice was sweet but so final I almost laughed. I opened it. A job listing, admin assistant, hourly, no benefits, a position someone else's daughter would have been embarrassed to mention. "So proud of you, Cecilia," Douglas murmured, running his hand through her hair. He didn't look at me once. I sat still, the envelope burning my palms, the sound of Cecilia's giggles ringing like tiny bells. A key, a house, a crown for the girl who'd never been asked to carry anything alone, and me, a reminder that I'd always be the one who had to find my own way home. But this time, I felt the first spark of something they'd never expect from me. I was done being grateful for scraps. That night, I lay awake in my old childhood bedroom, now the guest room, wrapped in the same flannel sheets that once held my 4th-grade tears. Down the hall, I could hear Cecilia giggling on a video call, her voice syrupy, joyful. Mine had cracked hours ago. The job listing lay on the nightstand, half crumpled from my grip earlier, a neat, sharp reminder. They thought this was the height of my potential. But it wasn't just the envelope, it was everything. I remember my 9th birthday. I woke up early, dressed myself in the glitter shirt I'd saved for months. I walked downstairs hoping for balloons, maybe even a cake. But Margaret was brushing Cecilia's hair in the dining room. "The kitchen needs to smell nice," she said, so I baked my own cupcakes. Too oily, too dense. She didn't even try one. "Cecilia doesn't like chocolate," Margaret had said as if that explained everything. I won the state science fair in 10th grade, a hydroelectric dam wired and functional, powered by water pressure. Douglas arrived late, clapped once, and left before their award ceremony. "Golf with Renner, couldn't cancel," he muttered. But when Cecilia booked a 30-second shampoo commercial, champagne, a catered dinner, framed printouts of her paused mid-air flip, it was like she cured cancer. I swallowed it all, every forgotten moment, every time they turned their backs while expecting me to carry the weight. But the one that still clung to my bones. Senior year, academic awards night, I stood in front of a packed auditorium, my name echoing from the podium, clutching the top scholarship in the state. I scanned the front row. And there she was, Margaret, not clapping, just scrolling. When I stepped down, still holding the certificate like it might melt, she looked up and said, loud enough for parents around us to hear, "Well, at least you're good at something." That sentence became a scar. I whispered it to myself now in the dark, good at something. The lights on the tree still blinked softly through the hall. The house looked like love, but it never felt like it. Cecilia got praise for showing up. I earned everything and got silence. But something in me was shifting now. No more empty hands. No more nodding and smiling through their hollow pride. I didn't want to thank you. I wanted the truth, and if they wouldn't give it to me, I'd dig until I found it myself. I hadn't planned to come back, but guilt has claws. 2 weeks after Christmas, Margaret called twice in one day. her voice drenched in that sticky sweetness she used when she wanted something. "Your father's back is out again. Cecilia's busy. We really need you." Lisa. Need. As if that word ever ran both ways in this house. So I drove the 4 hours home, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles ached. I told myself it was just one weekend, one last favor. By Saturday, I plugged boxes into the attic, scrubbed baseboards, fixed the loose hinge on the porch door. Cecilia never lifted a finger. Of course, she'd had plans, Margaret sighed, making it sound like her absence was my fault. After dinner, I couldn't sleep. The guest room, my old room, still held my faded soccer trophies, dusty proof I'd been someone once. But the walls felt smaller, like they remembered all the words I'd swallowed here. I got up, feet bare on cold floorboards, and wandered the hall. That's when I noticed it. Douglas's office door opened just an inch, but it was always locked, the key tight in his pocket like a secret. Something in me bristled awake. I stepped inside. The air smelled like old paper and expensive polish. The desk lamp cast a cone of light over neat piles of folders, property deeds, tax returns, bank slips. My name leaped out again and again. Then I found it, a sealed envelope, thick, marked to be opened upon death in Douglas's unmistakable block letters. I sank to the floor, breath caught in my throat, and opened it. Inside, a parcel number, a property deed purchased under my name, a signature mine, but the R and heart was wrong, slanted, stiff, forged. I heard the floor creak behind me. Douglas's voice, low, sharp. "Lisa, what are you doing in here?" I stood, papers clutched to my chest. "Why is my name on this, Dad? Why didn't you tell me?" He rubbed his temple, eyes refusing to meet mine. "It's complicated, you wouldn't understand." There it was again, that word, understand. I stared him down, the truth humming like a live wire under my skin. "Try me." But he just walked past me, gathered the scattered folders, and locked the drawer. "Go to bed, Lisa, we'll talk in the morning." But I knew we wouldn't. I slipped that forged deed into my coat pocket before he could notice. No more looking away, no more playing the good daughter. If they wouldn't tell me the truth, I'd tear the whole house open until it fell out. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the forged deed pressed flat under my pillow like a secret I'd known all my life but never spoken aloud. By dawn, I was back on the road, that manila folder seat belted in next to me. I didn't tell Margaret goodbye, didn't bother with an excuse. I called Mia before I even unpacked my bag. She was the only person I trusted with this, a friend since college, now a lawyer who specialized in estate messes like mine. I told her everything in a single breathless rush, the forged signature, the hidden property, my name twisted into someone else's investment. "Lisa, this is fraud," she said, voice calm but edged like a blade. "Can you prove it?" I asked. Mia's laugh was dry. "Can I? Watch me." The weeks that followed were a blur of phone calls, file boxes, and old statements with numbers that didn't add up. The lake house emerged from the paper trail like a ghost. My parents had mortgaged it behind my back to fund one of Cecilia's failed ventures, some wellness brand that never even launched properly. One rainy afternoon, sitting across Mia's desk, I traced my finger over the lake house deed. I remembered summers there when I was little, splashing in the freezing water, my mother's voice calling me in for dinner while Cecilia sat on the dock, refusing to get wet. They would have lost it without me, and they'd never planned to tell me. "I want it," I whispered. Mia looked up. "Revenge?" "No," I said, shaking my head, "proof." "So, we set up a shell company, clean and quiet. I used my savings, drained every account I'd built dollar by dollar since high school. I signed the paperwork with hands that didn't tremble. The sale closed before they even knew it was listed. A bank auction, their mortgage payments had lapsed for months. When Mia handed me the final deed, I just sat there staring at my name, real this time, solid. For once, I hadn't asked permission, I hadn't waited to be chosen. This wasn't about a house, it was about every lie they told and every truth I was finally ready to hold in my own hands. Christmas came around again. Same flickering tree, same cinnamon rolls burning in the oven. Cecilia twirled her new diamond bracelet like the room was built to worship her. I sat in my usual corner, a plain white box on my lap. No glitter, no ribbon, just the truth sealed inside. Margaret spotted it as she poured her coffee. "Lisa, Did you bring something? You didn't have to, you know. Her smile was syrupy, brittle at the edges. I stood and placed the box in Douglas's hands. Open it. He lifted the lid, eyes crinkling like he expected a tie or socks. Instead, his fingers brushed the thick envelope stamped with my lawyer's seal. He read the first page, the deed to the lake house, my name blazing across the top, then the second detailing the forgery they'd buried in their locked drawers. His face strained, paper trembling in his grip. Margaret leaned over his shoulder, voice cracking. Douglas, what did you do? Cecilia clutched her bracelet tighter, looking between us like a child realizing the bedtime story was a lie. Douglas swallowed. Lisa, we were trying to protect. No, I cut him off, calm but sharp. You were trying to control, I just took it back. Silence settled over the room like fresh snow, cold, absolute. Margaret's eyes glistened. You're not going to keep it. I met her stare. I already have, and I'm done giving pieces of myself away. No one moved, no apology came. That was fine. Some stories don't end with sorry. I stepped into the cold December air, the lake house keys warm in my pocket. Behind me, the house flickered with fairy lights, still pretending to be something it never was. This time, I didn't look back. Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.